Extreme and potentially record-breaking heat is developing today in South Australia. We're talking widespread heat between 40 to 48 degrees, challenging records we only set just last week for some areas. Extreme fire dangers will accompany this with dangerous fire weather. After a westerly change hits late tonight for South Australia, this weather will shift into Victoria, Tasmania, and parts of New South Wales with what looks like the worst fire day of the season for Tasmania, which is a particular concern given the amount of fires and the large fires that are already burning across central and southern parts of the state. We'll take a look at some forecasts now. The reason we have this is because of hot, dry, and at times gusty northerly winds today in South Australia. This red shading is 40-degree heat. This other darker shading is over 45-degree heat. And that's widespread today on this high-resolution weather model. As we look at the fire dangers, we can see we have severe to extreme fire dangers in quite populated areas, including the lower southeast and the Mount Lofty Ranges. Very high fire dangers today in parts of South Australia. Now, we'll see a westerly change come through overnight and into Friday. That'll hit you during sometime Friday morning in Adelaide. It'll gradually cool, but it'll still remain pretty hot. In the mid-30s is still your forecast. But on Friday, the fire weather and the dangerous conditions shift to Tasmania, Victoria, and parts of southern and western New South Wales. This looks very hot. 40 to 45-degree heat in parts of Victoria and much of western and central New South Wales. And for Tasmania, 35 to 40-degree heat here with winds sustained around 40 kilometers an hour. That's gusts potentially 60, maybe 70 kilometers an hour for some areas. And to top it off, we have a dry and potentially thundery change coming through in the afternoon across both Victoria, including you in Melbourne, as well as you in Tasmania. That thundery change will cause a rapid drop in temperatures, but it's not good conditions for fires that are already active, because that could cause the fires to shift in a different direction and form a new fire front that's large and potentially unmanageable. The fire danger is pretty bad. Now, from this morning, we already have a total fire ban in effect from Tasmania, stretching from 2 a.m. today up until next Monday. That's how we're trying to deal with these fires in this area. And you can see we already have severe fire danger and very high fire danger forecast in Tasmania, with the potential for extreme fire danger as well. Victoria already has extreme fire danger over the north, potentially even damaging winds developing over parts of the ranges and even parts of Melbourne. It's just going to be a very windy and hot day altogether. There is some relief on the way. Now, after that cool change rolls through, and whatever it does to the fires, it will cause those temperatures to drop down for you in Tasmania. Northern Victoria is still hot, and New South Wales pretty hot as well, but at least that fire danger eases back. And finally, just a quick mention on what's happening over the north of the country. We're looking at dual cyclones developing. One of them, located in the western region, is currently tracking west of the Kimberley and will move continually out into the Indian Ocean. It could even turn into a severe tropical cyclone. And the other one, well, that's floating around the Gulf of Carpentaria. It should organize itself into Thursday and Friday. You can see that center of low pressure there organizing itself. And areas around the Gulf Coast have a very high risk of flooding rainfall and potentially bad effects of storm surge. The forecast rain over the tropics looks pretty heavy. We're going to see some heavy totals over areas like Broome. We already saw storms yesterday, but widespread rain between 100 to 300 millimeters across the Gulf Coast due to what looks like the season's fourth tropical cyclone.
This is a severe weather alert.
An update on the latest cyclone warning for the Kimberley region, and also severe weather warnings issued for a monsoon low for far north Queensland. There is a tropical low located around 160 kilometers north-northwest of Broome. It's moving southwest fairly quickly at the moment, and it is forecast to develop into the season's third tropical cyclone today. Sustained winds near its center are around 55 kilometers an hour and gusts up to 85, so it's just below that cyclone threshold at the moment. There is a tropical cyclone warning in effect between Cape Leveque and Curry Bay. The threat of gales with gusts up to 100 kilometers an hour exists across that warning area this morning. Over the next few hours, this system will continue to move westwards, and as it does strengthen into a tropical cyclone, on the coastal fringe we'll see squally showers and storms, and as it moves near parallel to the Pilbara coast over the next few days, it could strengthen into a severe tropical cyclone and also bring abnormally high tides and storm surge to areas around the Pilbara coastline. Meanwhile, for far north Queensland, a monsoon low embedded in the monsoon trough is driving in very heavy rainfall and also the threat of damaging winds gusting over 90 kilometers an hour. The combined effect of the monsoon and the tropical low there are also bringing the threat of abnormally high tides, which could lead to localized coastal inundation. A severe weather warning for damaging winds, heavy rainfall, and abnormally high tides exists for areas in northern Queensland, including Weipa and the Coen region. It's looking like this monsoon low could even develop into a tropical cyclone over the next 48 hours. For assistance in storm damage, contact the State Emergency Services on 132 500.